Good afternoon and welcome to Masterclass Junior. It is Wednesday, it is time to cook. St. Patrick's Day today, so I thought we would create something a little bit different, inspired by Ireland and some of the flavours of Ireland, but a little bit more modern. We're going to make some spring onion potato cheese empanadas, so like a little Irish empanada. So lovely little buttery pastry parcels filled with Irish cheddar, spring onion, bacon, potatoes. Going to be absolutely delicious. And then I thought it'd be really nice to serve it with like a bit like a Salsa Verde, which is an Italian green sauce, yeah?
Yeah.
And it's kind of tangy and garlicky and a bit vinegary. Perfect contrast to the empanadas with the cheese and things like that in it. So, first thing we need, Pops, is we're going to do our empanada dough. So, if you grab a mixing bowl, pop the scales on there. I want 400 grams, so we'll just zero that. 1 second, wait for it to zero. 400 grams of flour. So this is self-raising flour. So what's in self-raising flour? That'll be perfect. Actually, no, we need a touch more there, don't we? Let me just grab a spoon. So we need... What do we need? We need 40 grams more. Let me pop that in there for you. So we've got exactly 400 grams. So do you think Emily's going to have some questions for us today, Pops? Right, I need 200 grams of butter or margarine. Okay, so it's a 2-to-1 ratio, exactly the same as short crust pastry would be. So 2 lots of flour to 1 lot of butter. But we're going to use eggs and a little bit of yogurt to bind it all together. 200 grams, please. Right, is that good?
Yeah.
Brilliant. Right, so you're going to get your hands in and mix that butter.
In with the...
Yeah, so use your fingertips. And Emily will tell you if she can see it with her camera. Yeah, happy? So always use your fingertips when you're rubbing pastry together. If you can find someone with nice cold hands, that's always a good person to make pastry. Mum could do it, yeah, no problem. So cold ingredients makes better pastry. So cold butter, cold water, cold milk, things like that. Okay? But we're going to use eggs and a little bit of yogurt today for ours. All right? So can I move you over here and I'll just get us started on the filling? Is that all right?
Yeah.
So you just pop along there. Right, so for the filling, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a knife. I've got a nice shallow non-stick pan here. Let's get that on the heat. And then we are going to, first of all, take some streaky bacon. Now, I use streaky bacon because it's got more fat in it, which means flavour. But I'm just going to cut it into little pieces. You could use back bacon. This is not smoked, but smoked would be really good too. So either or would be fine. If you've got a bit leftover ham in the fridge, that would work really well also. So into little pieces. Let's just move that over there. And let's get this pan nice and hot. Not quite there yet. How are we getting on? So use your fingertips, keep rubbing, keep rubbing. You want like a crumble texture when you're making pastry. It needs to look like that lovely apple crumbly topping. All right? And then you can crack your eggs in a minute. Okay, so let's get that ready. So let me talk you through the ingredients we're going to fill our empanadas with. Now, we've got some baked potatoes here. We're going to dice those up and we're going to fry them off in the bacon. So it's going to be amazing. Then I've got some lovely spring onions, or scallions, as they would say over in Ireland. And then I've got some good Irish mature cheddar. And then a little dose of Yorkshire. Henderson's relish. Now,
What's that?
it is the Sheffield's version of Worcestershire sauce.
What's that?
It's a very... Have a little smell. Do you want to smell? Come and have a smell. I'll tell you what's in it. It's quite tangy. Yeah? Do you think you might like that or not?
I'm not sure what's in it.
Yeah, I'm not telling you. Well, look, what does it say there?
Mail in Sheffield, a secret recipe.
A secret recipe?
No, but
So I don't know what's in it.
I'm reading.
Let's get a little bit of olive oil going in there. This is a cast aluminium 4-litre shallow Masterclass pan, so it's perfect for this. So let's just get our bacon in. and get all the flavours going. I'm going to turn that board over and change my knife. How are we doing, Pops?
Good. I think I'm ready to have my eggs now.
Okay, right, let's just get this going. Do you want to come back in then, onto here?
Pete, I've got a question for you.
Go on.
Can you use plain flour and baking powder together instead of self-raising?
Yes, you can, and the ratio differs a little bit, but I think it's 6 teaspoons to 1 kilo of flour. So if you were doing plain for this, you'd probably do about 2.5 teaspoons of baking powder to your plain flour. It's not a huge big deal if you use plain in this, to be honest. Self-raising just makes it a little bit lighter. Right, so add both eggs into the middle. All right, I'm just going to add a tablespoon of yogurt.
Can I still mix it?
Yeah, that can go straight over the top. Okay. Good egg cracking. Let's see a one-hander. Wait for Emily to cut into it.
No, it's not.
Come on. You can do a one-hander. Go on, you can do it. Oh, open it out. Oh, close. Close.
And I'll go over.
No, stay there. Keep going. Right, so use a spoon now and start to mix, and I will get you a tiny little bit of cold water if you need it. Again, really important, cold ingredients. So the reason why we've changed to a spoon is we're trying to keep the mixture cold. Because Pops has used the hands to rub the butter together, which she needed to do, we're now trying to keep everything nice and cold so you get a much nicer, crisper pastry for your empanadas.
I don't think we need any more right now.
No, we okay? All right, boss. Right, I'm going to get this bacon nice and crispy. We want to get all the fat out so that we can get all the flavour into the potatoes when we add them. Let's have a little. Can I have a little look? Yeah. Right, so you just wash your hands so that you don't get into too much of a mess. I'm just going to add a little sprinkle of flour onto this, Poppy. No, it's not too wet. I just want to bring it together for you, just so that it's easy to handle. No, not with pastry. You never need pastry. If you need it, you will work the gluten and it will become quite tough. What we want is nice, buttery little parcels full of lovely flavours. Leave that to rest then for a minute. Okay? Right, can you stir my bacon, please? Okay, so, got myself a chopping knife now. These are Masterclass edge keepers. So, can I just move over a bit, Pop? When you take this out of the sheath, it's got a little sharpening red edge there, and it gives the knife an edge every single time you put it away, and it also makes them protect them when they're in the drawers. So they're a really good thing to have at home where multiple people are using all using the same knife. How are we doing? Are we getting crispy?
You can definitely hear it.
Good. Cut the potato, these are jacket potatoes, into quarters, and then once I've cut them into quarters, Pops, put them in there. And what this does is, the reason why I've done jacket potatoes is, it's a really good way of sort of, if you've got extra potatoes cooked already, and I love the skins, I think the skins have got all the flavour, but if you've just got leftover mashed potato, you could use that if you want. Emily's going to ask me a question. You could, yeah. I mean, roast potatoes are a bit tougher when they're cooler. But you could, yeah. But jacket potatoes are great for it because they're easy to cook, twice as many as you need, knowing that you're going to cook this. Right, so try not to stir it too much, Pops.
Okay.
Because what we don't want to do is break the potato up. So you pop that in. Right, I'm going to slice up the spring onions. Are you going to do one too? Mm-hmm. I saw that. Your grandma watches this and she tells me what you get up to. Right, so spring onions or scallions or green onions, depending on where you're from. Everyone calls them a different thing, you see. Did you know that?
No.
Last time I was in America, they didn't know what I was talking about because I kept talking about spring onions.
Oh, what do they call it?
They call them scallions or green onions, depending on which part of America you're in. Right, they can go in.
Could you use a normal white onion
Too strong. Because we're not really going to cook the onion, it's just there almost like a herb. And it's a little bit of crunch, a little bit of texture. You could use leeks if you wanted to, but you would need to cook them a little bit. And you could use a bit of red onion. I mean, you could. You would have to cook your onion though, so you'd probably have to start with onion and bacon at the beginning, rather than add them now. And I use all of the onion, the green and the white. So you add those in, Pops.
Okay.
Good job. This works really well for a big family-sized pie as well, but we're going to make little empanadas today.
I'm going to just wash my hands.
Okay, cool. Then we're going to grate the cheese, if you would, because you wanted to do that, didn't you? Tell you what I'm going to do, so we don't burn our hands. Just going to pop these little rubber covers on here. There we go. So can you see that, Emily? You see where it's just taken on all the flavour? All the little bits from the pan, all the gnarly bits, all the brilliant bits of flavour. That's what you get when you use like cooked potato. Just looks like a massive big bowl of hash. Looks brilliant. Not that kind of hash. Right, cheddar? Are you going to grate or me? You're going to grate. Okay, so we probably want that much. All right, and then I'll test it. And you grate that. Love good cheddar. You could use other cheeses if you wanted to. Use a bit of Parmesan, that'd be nice. If that's what you've got left. Turn it the other way, Pops, so you're not left-handed.
Okay.
That's it, that'd be easier. Okay. Right, time for Henderson's. Worcestershire sauce, Henderson's relish. It's entirely up to you. Smell?
No, thanks.
What do you think's in it? Secret ingredient. Oh, ingredient, here we go. Vinegar, sugar, colour, caramel,
That's weird. Caramel.
tamarind. I think there's anchovy in it. It's a bit vague. But Worcestershire sauce has got anchovies in. We're going to add this in. It works really, really well. Worcestershire sauce works so well with things like cheese and potato and spring onions. It's just perfect. Do you like Worcestershire sauce, Emily?
I remember you said we could check potato cheese for lunch one day, and I remember I was sceptical. But it was
Converted. Another one converted. We'll have her eating Marmite next.
Like, oh no, don't push it. I am going to put Sophie.
What?
If you don't like it or you don't have it, what else can you use?
What, instead of Henderson's relish?
Yeah.
Or Worcestershire sauce?
Yeah.
You can have it without. You don't have to add it. You don't have to add it at all. It just adds another dimension of flavour. And I think it kind of cuts through the richness of what we've done. Because it is quite rich. You've got potatoes and bacon and cheese. And that's why we're making this salsa, because that will work really well with it. Right, how are we doing?
Nearly there.
Nearly there?
There's just little bits that I don't want to.
Dad can help with those.
Okay.
Dad can always help with cheese. Right, straight into the pan.
Woo!
That's it. Give it a stir, and we're done.
Melt the cheese.
Well, just mix it through. Doesn't need to melt.
I can't. Oh,
Okay.
yeah, I can touch it.
Yeah, you can.
With the protector.
We've got the protectors on. Right, so we'll go to our empanada dough now. So if you cut to the chopping board, turn that heat off now, Pops. Yeah? That's it. Just let that cool down. Because we've used because we've used self-raising flour, and there's a little bit of yogurt in there,
It's a bit.
it's quite light, isn't it?
It's quite fluffy.
Do you want to mix that, don't you? I can see
Yeah.
you're itching to get in there, aren't you?
Just.
Go for it. Let me move this. All right. So try not to over mix it. So all we want to do is like fold it in on itself and turn it over on itself, so you get a nice strong round dough. And then we're going to roll it. Okay? So this, you've got to remember, this isn't bread. So we don't need to work it really, really hard. And we want to roll them out, okay? So this is a nice heavy marble roller, so you don't need to put any weight on it. Use the weight of the rolling pin like that, yeah?
Yeah.
And then lift it and then turn it, okay?
Lift and turn.
Lift and turn.
Roll, lift, turn.
Yep. Okay? Do you want me to roll a new cut?
Yeah, I'll cut.
Right, the cutter's next to me.
Which side of the
This side.
cutter?
Which side would you like to do?
This
The
side.
fluted side. Okay, go for it.
Okay.
So it's about 1/2 centimetre thick. Try and get as many cuts as you can. Now, when you're doing it,
Go right to the
start
side.
at the edge there and do one. Okay, and then do the next one right next to it like that, and
Yeah.
then you get a maximum yield. The first roll of pastry is always the best. Okay? Good. So, I've got a non-stick pan here, tray even. So that means we'll get a nice crisp base because they've got like a textured base on this non-stick tray, which means air gets underneath it, which means they are very non-stick, and you get a nice crispy base. Okay? Right. What I need you to do is nip next door and see if you can get an egg from Mum in the fridge. Yeah? Right, while Poppy's getting that, don't tell Mum, just sneak in. We're going to take a little bit of our filling. Now, you could make bigger ones of these if you wanted to. You can make them sort of full size, dinner size, or you can make little snack size, which is what we're doing here. It's entirely up to you. Really is. These freeze perfectly before Emily asked me that. Stolen her thunder. No, they do. You can freeze these raw. So once you've sealed them all up, pop them in the freezer and you can bake them from frozen actually. So they're really good.
What about other fillings?
Oh, other fillings. Do you know what? All sorts of things. You could do like roasted sweet potato and feta and red onion. That would be really nice.
There's no eggs.
No? Can you get some milk then, please?
Do you not have it? Is it in the...
No. We've eaten it all, drunk it all.
What about the Irish stew that we did the video on?
Yeah, so you can make some like little meaty ones if you want. If you'd have had, we've just created this amazing beef and Guinness stew, which will be launched on the Kitchen Craft Facebook page on Wednesday, and it is absolutely amazing. Make twice as much as you need because you could make amazing little empanadas with it. Any of the leftovers. Always better when you're making a beef stew or something like that. Make more than you need because it's actually better the next day once it's really fully cooked. So it works really, really well. Right. Okay, so let's just lift the excess pastry away. Here she comes. Right, let's have a splash of milk into here. That'll do.
Should I put...
Right. No, just pop it to one side.
Okay.
Let's get a pastry brush and then brush around half of it. It's quite important that you only do half. So when you're egg washing a parcel, if you egg wash all the way round, the milk or beaten egg, whichever you're doing, will do that when you seal it together. Whereas if you just do half, it will stick and it will stick from wet to dry. Okay, so a lot of people make that mistake of going all the way around. If I just move you around there, and then are you cutting into this, Emily? I am. Okay, so all we need to do is just, is that decent there? You see that all right? Is just press the edges. The less we handle this, the better your parcels will be. So, you know, we rolled it out quite gently, and then you just lift them together and just pinch. And because Pops has only brushed half of it, they stick really easily. Right. So let's...
Is that okay?
That is perfect. You're going to quite like these, I reckon.
They look good.
They do look good, don't they? Do you want them for your packed lunch tomorrow?
Yes. I think I might.
Yeah. They'd be quite good for a packed lunch, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
Have a few of these with your ketchup, I would imagine.
Maybe.
Bit of pastry and ketchup, that's for you, isn't it?
This one hasn't been brushed.
Alright, do another one then.
Right.
So let's just crimp these shut. Okay. You could do sweet ones as well. Bit of banana, bit of Nutella, marshmallows, chocolate, strawberries, raspberries. You could even, I reckon, you could put a bit of cake and a bit of chocolate inside the pastry.
What?
Oh, that sounds
No, that'd be good, wouldn't it? Or you could do caramel and banana or apple. Right.
I think we might have space.
Well, we'll just crimp these ones and put them to one side and we'll bake them. But you could brush those with milk and then they're done, Pops.
These?
Yeah. Just a light brushing of milk on those. That'll be perfect.
Alright.
There we go. I'll put these to one side. We'll bake those in a minute. Right, once you've baked all of those, Pops, can you pop those in the oven and they will bake while we make our salsa? Yeah?
What time are we on?
I don't know. Right, are you ready to make my incredible salsa?
Yeah.
Right, do you want to get a knife and a glass bowl? Okay? Good with that one? And then get me a glass bowl and then everyone can see what's going on inside it. I'm just going to wipe this down. Yep.
Do we need the...
Oh, we could do that. Do you want to do it in that instead?
Yeah.
All right then. Ooh. It's a big heavy one, that. Right, so we're going to make a Salsa Verde, okay? Which is an Italian, it's an Italian sauce. And a Salsa Verde is basically Italian for green sauce.
Oh.
Okay? So we've got, this is quite a big clove of garlic, so you don't want too much in there because otherwise it will just be really, really overpowering. So we're just going to go with one. So pop that in and just start to smash that up, Pops. I'm going to add a little bit of salt, which works as an abrasive. Can you see all right in there, Emily?
yeah, so just tip it towards.
Yeah, just tip it towards that camera every so often, Poppy. So just keep smashing that. You could use a garlic crusher if you want to, in a mixing bowl, just as well. Okay, ready?
Yeah.
So we've crushed that. Now, we've got
Pickle. Oh.
your favourite ingredient.
Oh no.
All right.
Sardines in a tin.
They are not sardines, Poppy. They are anchovies.
Oh.
All right.
Anchovies were...
Tiny little pieces of fish packed in salt, and they just give an incredible flavour. Okay? So you mash those up. Dijon mustard next. Excuse me. Teaspoon of Dijon mustard.
Okay.
In that goes. Okay?
I'm not sure about this.
I know, do you know what, it's quite out there. Whoever created this sauce, I'm not sure what they were thinking when they did it, but it's good. Right, now I went to the shop to get capers, and I couldn't get capers. So I bought gherkins, very similar.
What's the difference between
A caper is a pickled bud off a tree, and a gherkin is like a little cucumber that's pickled. Do you want to try a bit? You like vinegar, so you actually would probably quite like that.
Okay.
You think you're okay, do you?
They're really they're bendy, but you can't
They're just really tangy. So what we're going to do is we're just going to chop them up. You put those in and I'll chop. So, you know, prime example, don't let not being able to get an ingredient stop you making it. I couldn't get capers, so we're in with gherkins. They will do exactly the same job. It's that acidity, that sort of pickled tanginess that I want, and that kind of contrasts with the saltiness of the anchovy. And then we're going to add some vinegar, some fresh mint and olive oil, and it will be absolutely delicious. Dipping this in with the empanadas will be amazing. Where are you going? Oh, okay. Right, so just hold your horses, young'un. Hold your horses. So, we need to be careful we don't add too much vinegar. So, 2 tablespoons of vinegar to 4 of olive oil. So you've got twice as much oil as vinegar. If you prefer it less tangy, less acidic, add less vinegar. You've got to taste it as you go and you can make adjustments.
4.
4? Brilliant. Okay, so good extra virgin olive oil. Right. And then fresh mint. All right, so I'm just going to pick the leaves off and we're going to chop all these up. If you can't get mint, use flat leaf parsley. Works the same. Steady. Before you go everywhere. You could season that with a little bit of black pepper for me. The big pepper mill.
Big pepper.
Yeah. Doesn't need salt because the anchovies are in it.
And there's already a little bit of salt in.
Yeah, we used it for the abrasive, didn't we? Yeah. So that salt at the very beginning grinds against the garlic to make it crush and get like a paste. That should be enough. We can always add a little bit more later. Right. So if you just pop that to one side, do you want to chop the mint?
You can do it.
You want me to do it? All right, pass me my big knife from over there then. And I will show you how to chop it nice and finely. So I've picked all the leaves, okay? We're now just going to roll this all up into one bundle. And then using a nice sharp knife, we're going to chop it in a rolling motion. So it's not an up and down chop, chop, chop. It's a roll through. And this is why you want a nice sharp knife. Because the edge of the knife will do all the work and it will slice through the herb without it becoming bruised. If you try and chop herbs with a blunt knife, you'll just bruise them and they'll go black and they'll oxidize. Whereas with a sharp knife, you're able to slice straight through it. I mean, you have a smell of that, Pops. Put your nose in there. How nice does that smell?
It smells very nice.
That smells so fresh. So that's quite intense, yeah? It's garlicky, it's salty, it's tangy, it's mustardy. This is our contrast. This is fresh, light and fragrant.
So we need to put that in there.
We're going to put that in there and then you're going to start mixing it. But you don't need that now. You can use a spoon. So let me take that out. Yeah, I'm going to move the chopping board so that you can see everything going on. And then make sure you show it to that camera there so people can see exactly what's going on in that pestle and mortar.
Perfect.
Keep going, keep mixing. Okay? Good. Right. Mixed. Right, what I want you to do is spoon it into that bowl there, and then that's ready for when our empanadas are ready. They shouldn't be long out of the oven.
Is the salsa verde something you can make in advance?
It is, but I wouldn't make it too far in advance because it will oxidise. You could make it like a couple of days before, or keep it for a couple of days, easy. It's amazing over pasta, through salads. It's beautiful with meats. It's just that, you know, if you have like a big roast leg of lamb or something at Easter, try using Salsa Verde and making your own instead of mint sauce. It's just incredible. There's so much more depth of flavour in that, and it just is so contrasting. Okay, we've got our Salsa Verde here. Empanadas are ready to come out of the oven. Are you going to get them? Carefully lift them out of the oven, yeah? If you can't manage, just shout me and I'll do it for you. Nice and careful. Use the oven gloves. That's it. Good, hold it either side. Then I've got a chopping board here.
Hey, look.
That's it. Pop that on there.
They look ready.
Grab a fish slice, and then you can scoop those onto there. That's it. Just pop them, pile them all up on there. That's it. There we go.
Hey, look. They smell good.
They do smell good, don't they? What flavour are you going to make?
Maybe later this weekend, I might try and make a sweet one.
Okay, what are you going to put in them? No.
Like a fruit. For school,
Yeah?
I'm doing DT, so I've got to make a fruit crumble.
You have got to make a fruit crumble, haven't you? Right, if you could just carefully move that over there with your oven gloves. All right. So there you go. That is our St. Patrick's Day inspired, that is, Irish empanadas. They're filled with bacon, potatoes, spring onions, Irish cheddar cheese, and we served them up with our homemade version of a Salsa Verde. Now, if you want the recipe, go to masterclass.co and you will get it there. And I will see you all on Saturday. And what are we cooking Saturday? It's going to be a beautiful curry, and I'm going to show you how to make some onion bhajis for the kids, but actually not deep fried. We're going to bake them in muffin tins. They're going to be absolutely delicious. It's going to be curry for us on Saturday.